your takeoff foot is your plant foot. So you want that almost like straight and hopefully underneath you as possible, because the more underneath you your takeoff foot is, the more vertical action you get going up. Hi, I'm Morgan Lake. I am a UK high jumper and I'll be your guide today, talking through the high jump, starting from the run-up, the approach, all the way to the takeoff and landing.
One of the 4 jumping disciplines, the high jump is considered by many to be the most dazzling. Contested in every modern Olympic Games, it's one of the sport's most visually impressive events, as athletes combine speed and power with technique and grace. The jump consists of 3 phases: approach, takeoff, and flight. But before we get to those, every jumper must find their starting point.
So the first part of the high jump is measuring out your run-up. So I go about 14 or 15 of my feet wide and then 70 of my feet back. But some people use the measuring tape to do it. I just prefer to do it this way, so it means I can do it wherever I can without any equipment. But yeah, that's how I start the measurement of my run-up.
In a competition, an athlete will tweak and refine their starting position to get it just right. It's a critical detail in an event where victory hangs in the balance of 1 or 2 centimeters. The table is set, time to put the pieces in motion and enter into the first phase of the jump, the run-up.
So my run-up is a 10-stride approach, which means I do 10 steps before I take off and jump over the bar. Some athletes do a run-up and then an 8, which is called a rolling A, which means they'll just get a bit more momentum into the run, and that's usually like speed jumpers who do that, who just really rely on their speed and just take off really fast. With my 10-stride approach, I start a bit slower, and then I kind of like whip round the bend to get as much momentum as I can around the bend.
Running at top speed, it's time for takeoff. The key is turning the horizontal velocity created by running into vertical velocity. This is achieved by loading one's weight and force onto their takeoff foot and exploding upwards.
So the takeoff pretty much ends up being the final 2 strides. So you want a really, really strong left side to go like that, and then your takeoff foot is your plant foot. So you want that almost like straight and hopefully underneath you as possible, because like the more underneath you your takeoff foot is, the more action you get, vertical action you get going up. Put your foot down as hard as you can really, and then just try and get that vertical force up and over the bar.
With the launch sequence complete, an athlete rises into the air. Thoughts turn towards clearing the barrier. After all, the preparation, run-up, and takeoff are all for nothing if an athlete fails to clear the obstacle. Nearly everyone will recognize the unique movement high jumpers use over the bar, the Fosbury flop.
You have to jump up as high as you can and then put your head back and get your hips and all your legs over the bar. It's quite a natural movement now, and it kind of happens as a result of the takeoff. But yeah, the most important thing is never to feel like you've cleared the bar before you have, because that's also when you see people hit it off with their ankles or their legs. So yeah, you've just got to put your head back, put your shoulders back, everything, just make sure you clear the bar.
The high jump is a complex event that requires a unique balance of speed, power, technique, and finesse. When everything comes together, it's a prime example of everything beautiful about the sport. Thanks to Morgan Lake, we now know a bit more about what goes into this iconic event.